Here are 10 simple habits that will help you activate your feminine energy. And they're doable for anyone, especially if you have a bunch of masculine demands in your life. In fact, that's exactly who I make content for and tailor my videos to. And I know that these habits and tips will make a big impact in your life because I've experienced it firsthand. And I know that a lot of my viewers are moms or women who work stressful jobs, a lot of overlap, a lot of stressed out working moms, and so I'm here to help you. And I know that a lot of my viewers are either moms or busy working stressful jobs. Some are overlapping, some experience both. So today I have a couple of habits that are tailored specifically for moms or tailored specifically for those who work busy, stressful jobs, because those are two very masculine demands that a lot of us have in our life. So let's address them and use them to our advantage and still thrive in our feminine energy despite those facts. Hi, I'm Amanda, a busy full-time working mom to two crazy little toddlers, and I thrive in my feminine energy despite all the masculine demands in my life, and I help women just like you do the same. Below, you'll find a link to sign up for my free newsletter, where every week I share simple tips on how to be more in your feminine energy, how to activate that despite all the masculine demands in your life. You'll also find encouragement and anything under the sun to help make your life more enjoyable, easier, and will help to get you more aligned with your feminine energy, and therefore your truest self. So really quickly, I just want to address what is feminine energy and why should you care? Why does it matter? You need to care about feminine energy because as a woman who is inherently feminine, who thrives in her feminine energy, when there is misalignment there and it's all out of whack, you have way too many masculine demands versus being in your feminine energy and you spend too much time in your masculine energy, that is when you just feel unlike yourself. A lot of us know that feeling very well, whether or not we're able to apply this verbiage to it or not, but that's what it is. And a lot of us women, we get to a place where we're very burnt out, very stressed out, and it's because for a million different factors, there's a million different things that play into it, but what it all comes down to is that you are a person who feels best when you are inherently in your feminine energy, but your life and your lifestyle isn't currently accommodating that. That's a really quick overview about what feminine energy is and why you need to care. I have way more videos about this on my channel, a whole bunch that really go into what feminine energy is in a lot more depth and detail, but that's the overview. And so now let's just get straight into the habits on how you can really activate that feminine energy, even when it feels really hard. Habit number 1 is to make a habit of constantly pausing and checking in with yourself. And this needs to happen, when I say constantly, I mean all throughout the day, like almost on an hourly basis. And if it's not something that you're used to doing, it's going to feel really foreign and weird, but it won't take long to have it feel more natural, and it's really going to help you in the long run. So this could look like first thing in the morning, pausing to ask yourself, what would make you feel really good today? And maybe you have the whole day open, you can do whatever you want. Maybe you have that luxury, but maybe you don't. So it can look like something as simple as much as I want to hit the snooze button, I know that I'll feel really good if I do not indulge in the snooze button and instead I get up when I said that I was going to get up, so that way I can have a more peaceful morning and I'm not rushing through every single thing that I need to do to get out the door. Or it may feel like saying yes to the snooze button and deciding that you're just not going to make yourself a lunch for work today, and instead you're going to grab your favorite salad from the cafe around the corner from your office. It's just about checking in with yourself before you are kind of forced into circumstances without having the opportunity to even think about what would feel good and what you need. Because a lot of the times we just work on autopilot without really checking in with ourselves, and that's when we get away from our feminine energy. It's time for you to do your workout for the day, and you had in your mind that you were going to do whatever XYZ, like brute force strength training workout that someone on Instagram said that you should do. You get there and you realize, I'm feeling really tired. I'm feeling sluggish. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this. Maybe what you really need is some restorative yoga. Or maybe you were intending on just doing 20 minutes of yoga and then you show up and you realize, I have so much energy. I do not have it in me to just lay down and do some stretches, whatever. Not that sounds like I'm undermining what yoga is. It's not. I love yoga. I mean no disrespect to yoga, but maybe you show up and you intend to do yoga, but it is not what you and your body actually need that day. Maybe you need to really lift some heavy weights or go on a hard run or just dance and be free. It's all about just checking in with yourself and not just going through the motions, but rather pausing to ask yourself what you need and honoring that. Or maybe you're feeling sad and your instinct is to pour a giant glass of wine and just numb out in front of Netflix with a pint of ice cream in your wine, and you think that will make you feel better. But when you stop and ask yourself, you know in your heart that what's actually going to make you feel better is picking up the phone and calling your sister to have that tough conversation that you've been putting off for a few weeks. The more you do it, the more instinctual it becomes and the more aligned you will start to feel. And this might feel like something so obvious, but none of us do it. Because the art of checking in with ourselves is one that's a little too easy to get out of the habit of or to not even think about amidst the chaos of life. And to be clear, this is absolutely not about always giving yourself the permission to be indulgent. That's not what it's about. It's about checking in and really, really asking yourself what you need. And a lot of the time, that looks like choosing the uncomfortable thing, the thing that you wouldn't automatically opt to do. Like having that hard conversation with your sister when you really don't want to. Next is to slow down and to try some new recipes. And this is a great one because it's creative and it's rewarding and it's one that you can literally create something and then enjoy it. And that's a really beautiful thing. And it's that act of creating and enjoying that the feminine energy absolutely loves. Even the activity of just looking for and getting inspired by new recipes is one that's going to really nourish your feminine energy. And to be clear, this is not the same as like you run out of groceries, so you need to go to the grocery store, but you can't go to the grocery store yet because you don't know what you're having for your dinners this week, so you need to make a meal plan, so you just write down like 5 to 7 meals that you know your family will eat, whether or not you feel inspired by them or not. It's not that. Though these are two completely different experiences. The version I'm talking about is when you light a candle, you make yourself a delicious cup of coffee, you sit down on your coziest chair in your house and you scroll Pinterest and make an experience out of becoming re-inspired by cooking and find some recipes that you're really, really excited about trying, and then making your grocery list from there. And then lighting another candle, I love candles, and pouring yourself a glass of red wine, putting on some music while you're enjoying the experience of actually making this new recipe. They are two completely different experiences. One, you're in survival mode. You just need to get some groceries. You just need to jot down some recipes so that way your family can eat. Very masculine energy based. On the flip side, you're enjoying and luxuriating in the entire process. Very feminine energy coded. Habit number 3 might sound like a weird one, but it is to allow yourself to get bored. And it sounds weird because in 2024, the concept of boredom is absolutely foreign to us. Like, boredom is just never a thing that we experience anymore because we're so inundated and there's unlimited content we can consume. Like, at any given moment, we can have unlimited input. And I think that that is exhausting and draining for our brains, whether we realize it or not. We can't go 2 seconds without our phone. We have become so uncomfortable with the idea of not having input. We don't allow ourselves to just be bored and to be one with our thoughts. That's like so foreign. But I think it's really important that we take away the stimuli and we just allow our brains to, for lack of a better word, think for themselves, to have nothing going into the brain and to just see what comes out. Because it's almost impossible to have your own thoughts come out of your brain when there's nothing but foreign outside input going in. And it's when you give your brain a chance to have some uninfluenced thoughts that creativity comes out, your true purpose comes out. You realize things that you maybe never have considered before. You have life revelations. You experience clarity. It's only when your brain has a little bit of nothingness going into it that those beautiful outcomes can become clear to you. Okay, next is for my working girlies. And these are all, it's kind of like a sub habit of like a bunch of little things, basically to make your life at work easier and more enjoyable. And they might get a little controversial. Here's the thing. Work in general is inherently masculine. Even if you love it, even if you love what you do and you would never want to do anything else, even if that is the case, there are still almost exclusive masculine demands when it comes to work of any kind. And so it takes a concerted effort to remain in your feminine energy when you have an important and oftentimes stressful job to do, even if you love it, because that's just the inherent nature of it. And so when we spend 40 plus hours a week in our masculine, that has a big impact on our feminine energy. And I'm definitely not saying that it's impossible to be in your feminine energy if you work. That's not the case at all. I base my whole channel and content around that fact, around thriving in your feminine energy despite the masculine demands of your life, because it would be very easy for us to all be in our feminine energy if none of us had jobs or obligations, right? But we live in the real world, in reality. All right, here's the first controversial one. Stop always trying to go above and beyond. Sometimes it's good enough to just show up, do your job, do it well, because we're not trying to cheat anyone here. But you don't always have to be the first one to volunteer an idea. You don't always have to be the first one to grab any and all opportunities. And to be clear, I am absolutely not advocating for wasting your company's time and money spent on you, or to not perform to the best of your ability. I'm speaking more so to the overachievers, and to just think critically when you say yes to new opportunities. Because I know that some of you are actively, maybe accidentally, creating your own toxic work environments, and that's on you, and it's something that you can change. Next is, if you're not already, get dressed up for work, especially if you work in a corporate setting. The opportunity to wear beautiful clothing and to do your makeup and your hair and jewelry really lends itself well to that opportunity. A lot of people don't have places to go on a daily basis where they won't be at a place if they dress up a little. And not only that, it elevates you as a person in the workplace. So there's nothing to lose. And feeling confident and beautiful is absolutely going to get you aligned with your feminine energy. And you can do that even if you're in, you have your masculine working girl hat on all day long. You can still nourish your feminine energy with some perfume that you love, some jewelry that makes you feel amazing, an outfit that just makes you feel so confident. And in general, just lean back a little bit. Like I mentioned a little bit before, you don't always have to be the first one to speak up. You don't need to defend every decision you make. You don't have to go head to head with Chad in marketing. And next up is to make sure that you have a nourishing meal for lunch to avoid the afternoon slump, because what you have for lunch can make or break a whole half of your workday and what that feels like. So make good decisions, especially at lunch and breakfast. You can maybe save your dessert for after dinner when you can just relax. And lastly, as it pertains to work and remaining in your feminine energy, despite the fact that you have to go to a stressful job every day, is to make the most out of your lunch breaks. Go for a walk or take your book and read at the park around the corner. Almost anything is better than just sitting in the lunchroom listening to Brenda complain about her bunions or doom scrolling at your desk. Habit 5 is to take up journaling, and I know some people have some resistance to this, but consider it because it really can do wonders to help you process your emotions and deal with things that you're going through. It also allows you to engage in self-reflection and introspection and to really get to know yourself. Something I hear from women so often is something along the lines of, I know I want more for myself, but I don't know what to want. I don't even know what I want out of life. I just know that I want more. And journaling is exactly how those kinds of answers become clear to you. So it's really important, and it's also great for your mental health. It's been proven to be extremely therapeutic. The next habit is one for the mamas, and it's to do activities with your kids that you really enjoy and make you feel really aligned with your feminine energy. This is something that I've not too recently, but it's not something I've always done since I had kids. It was always about what they wanted to do. And I just started thinking more about, okay, if I have to do these kid things all day long, what would be things that I enjoy that I know they enjoy as well? Because there's nothing fun about trying to get a kid to do something that they have no interest in. But definitely, I know that there's going to be things that you love and make you feel aligned with your feminine energy that your kids do too. So here are some examples. Coloring or craft projects. I have the best conversations with my daughter when we're just coloring together, and it's a really nice activity. I enjoy it and my daughter loves it, and we have good conversation while we do it, and it's a really special time. Along that same line, puzzles. We love doing puzzles together. I love doing puzzles so much, so it brings me so much joy, the fact that my daughter loves doing them with me. Next is to play outside, doing literally anything. Kids love being outside. My kids are their best selves when they're outside. And I feel really great being outside too. So whether they're off doing their own thing and I'm reading my Kindle, or we're digging in the dirt together, or if they're helping me with yard work or I'm doing yard work and they're playing, either way, just get outside with your kids and everyone will be happy. And leave your shoes off and do some grounding in the grass. If you're gonna do screen time, why not make an experience out of it and try really hard to try to convince them to watch something that's like 20 plus years old, when TV shows for kids weren't specifically created to drive their brains crazy and to make them extremely stimulated. My daughter's favorite movie is the original Little Mermaid from the 90s, and that was my favorite movie as a kid too. And it's just a completely different experience for them, and also for you as a parent who also needs to, take in this show. Watching a cartoon or a movie from 20 plus years ago versus anything that's on today, like, Miss Rachel, I love you, mad respect, but I've had enough, okay? I've had enough. And make a whole movie night out of it. Make some popcorn or bake some cookies and smell them baking while you're watching the first 20 minutes of the show. Make a fort, dim the lights, light a candle. And just as a blanket statement, light a candle when you're doing anything and it will automatically feel a little bit more aligned with your feminine energy. Candles are amazing in all instances. Habit 7 is to just get in the habit of always being extremely kind. Go out of your way to be kind and to dish out compliments. A woman aligned with her feminine energy is open and warm, and she lets someone know when she loves her dress. The other day I told a girl standing in front of me at Starbucks that I loved her dress, and I could just tell it made her whole day, and it made her feel a bit more feminine, I'm sure, which the world needs more feminine energy in general. And it made me feel more aligned with my feminine energy because it helped me feel more warm and open. And there's just, honestly, I don't think I need to go into this any further. Just be kind and dish out those compliments because people deserve to hear them. Habit number 8 is huge, and it's to spend more time with girlfriends and put more effort into fostering those relationships. And I know that can be easier said than done, especially if you're a mom and your discretionary time is extremely limited. I do understand. You don't have time for everything or everyone, so you do have to be selective with how you spend it and who you spend it with. I am personally an introvert through and through. I need a lot of time by myself in order to feel aligned and relaxed and to come home to myself. And I also need to spend a good amount of time with my husband because it's pretty important to me that I foster that relationship. But I also know that when I don't spend enough time with my girlfriends, that doesn't feel good either. As humans, but especially as women, we're not supposed to go through life alone. And we're not supposed to go through life with just being able to lean on our husband or our sister or our mom, and a lot of people aren't even close to their mothers or don't have sisters. And it is so imperative to the health of our soul that we spend time with women. And not just spend time around other women, because I'm sure a lot of us, we have a lot of female acquaintances, but it's about fostering friendships that have depth and true connection. It's the friendships that allow you to get vulnerable and to not be your absolute best self, to allow the friendships that allow you to break down and be real, and they're there to help pick you up and to support you and help work through problems with you. Females need that. And deep, truly connected female friendships, they're so important, but they don't just happen. They take effort, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of you watching this right now, and me myself not too long ago until I became aware of it and started changing it, it's not an area in our life where we put enough effort into. And so I really challenge you to sort out those female friendships that are actually deep and have connection or have the potential to be that, and to seek it out. Maybe you have no one in your life that you're currently getting that genuine friendship with. Maybe that's something that you need to work on creating. But I strongly encourage you to put effort into that part of your life, because it's so important, and your feminine energy will thank you. Habit number 9 is to offload and outsource absolutely anything that you can that you don't enjoy doing or that takes away from your feminine energy. Literally anything that drains you mentally or physically, that someone else in your life, whether that be in your family or someone that you can hire to take care of, you need to really strongly consider if that's an option for you. Is there someone in your family? Maybe your husband can take on some of the stuff that's currently on your plate. Can someone else take care of it? Can you hire someone to do something like grocery delivery or house cleaning or lawn care? Even if that's something that your partner typically takes care of, if that's something that's off of their plate, then they have more capacity to help you out with other things and to take other things off your plate, or to just spend more time together doing things that you actually enjoy. Or don't be the first to volunteer at every single thing at your kid's school. And if you have kids, even if they're little, I'm sure there's things that you can delegate to them that they would be so excited to take on the responsibility for. And yes, I acknowledge that a lot of these things do come with a financial cost, but you need to ask yourself, what is all the stress of these things costing you? And just consider if maybe it's worth spending the money so that you can be more relaxed and enjoy your life a little more. That's got to be worth something. And lastly is to prioritize pleasure. And remember that not every moment needs to be productive or optimized. And not only do you need to intentionally carve out time in your life to relax, because your body needs to unwind, your mind needs to unwind, but it also needs to experience pleasure, and that deserves to be prioritized and intentionally carved out into your time as well. Read the books that you want to. Don't read the thing off of the New York Times bestseller list because you want to sound smart at book club next month. Read the smutty romance if that's what brings you joy. Go ahead and rewatch Gilmore Girls for the 42nd time, even though everyone in your life is talking about the new Netflix murder documentary that you have to watch. Or do some crochet because you love it and you have fun doing it, even though every time you do, it doesn't turn out very well and you're not very good at it, but you thoroughly enjoy doing it. Spend the money on the massage. Get the color that you want for your pedicure that brings you the most joy, even though it's not very trendy. And make sure that you're stopping to get your favorite drink on the way too. Because the big picture of your life really is made up of all these tiny little moments that add up together to something great. And so you owe it to yourself and your life to fill those tiny little moments with a whole bunch of dashes of pleasure. So that's all that I have for you today, but don't forget to check out the link in the description box below to get signed up for my free newsletter, where I will share doses of encouragement and all sorts of things to make your life easier and more enjoyable and to get you more aligned with your truest self and in your feminine energy. And next, I recommend this video where I share my original 10, or actually I think it's 13 because I couldn't keep it to 10, my original micro feminine energy habits. I think there's 13 because I wasn't planning on making this part 2, but I just couldn't keep it to 10. So as much as I love all the tips that I shared in this video and stand by them, the original 10 are the ones that like I really thought hard on and were the first that came to mind, and I feel like are probably even more impactful to my life than the ones that I shared in this video today. And now I'd love to hear from you. Please share the micro habits below that make you feel most aligned with your feminine energy so that way we can help everyone in this community feel more aligned. I look forward to talking to you next time. Thank you so much for being here. And be sure to subscribe for more videos about embracing your feminine energy and living the life of your dreams. Stay aligned.